Introduction. What this new announcement means for you. If you're a senior living on a fixed income, a retiree depending on Social Security, or a working American trying to stretch every dollar, you've probably been waiting a very long time for some kind of meaningful relief. And lately, there has been a lot of confusion, rumors, and conflicting information circulating about new payments, new programs, and new promises. That's exactly why this explanation matters. Today, we're going to break everything down carefully, clearly, and slowly. I want you to understand exactly what former President Donald Trump has announced, who qualifies, why this matters, and what you should realistically expect moving forward. Recently, President Trump made a major announcement directly from the Oval Office, and he repeated the same message multiple times on his Truth Social account. His message was simple but powerful. He wants to send a $2,000 payment to low-income and middle-income Americans using money collected from tariffs on foreign countries. This new proposal is being referred to as a tariff dividend payment. Trump described it as a way of returning the money collected from tariffs back to American citizens, almost like shareholders receiving a dividend from a company. For many seniors, especially those on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, or retirement income, this is a big deal. With inflation increasing the cost of groceries, utilities, gas, and prescription medications, a one-time $2,000 payment could make the difference between catching up on bills and falling further behind. That's why this update has gained so much attention and why millions of Americans are watching closely. In his public statements, President Trump said clearly that the payment would go to low-income and middle-income Americans, and he emphasized that high-income individuals would not be included. This tells us that the program is targeted specifically toward everyday Americans, not the wealthy, not corporations, and not people earning above the income threshold. To make this even more significant, Trump emphasized the phrase, at least $2,000, meaning the amount could potentially be higher depending on how much tariff revenue is available. Whether or not that will happen remains to be seen because it will depend on Congress and the IRS. But the fact that Trump repeated this proposed amount multiple times in official posts makes it clear that he intends to push for it seriously. Before we go any further, I want to speak directly to my senior viewers. I know that government announcements, financial programs, and stimulus payments can be confusing, especially when so much information is incomplete or misleading. My goal here is to explain things slowly, clearly, and accurately, without exaggeration and without fear. I want you to feel informed, confident, and protected, not overwhelmed. So in this breakdown, I will help you understand the income rules, the eligibility requirements, the timeline, and the steps you should take right now to make sure you're prepared if this program moves forward. Trump's announcement. What he said, word for word. To understand why people are paying close attention to this new proposal, it's important to look at exactly what President Trump said, not rumors, not summaries, but the precise statements he made. When speaking to reporters inside the Oval Office, Trump said, one of the things we're going to do, we're going to issue a dividend to our middle-income people and lower-income people, about $2,000, and we're going to use the remaining tariffs to lower our debt. The key parts of this statement are a $2,000 dividend payment targeted at low-income and middle-income Americans, funded by tariff revenue from foreign countries. The remaining revenue would be used to reduce the national debt. Only a short time later, he posted on Truth Social, all money left over from the $2,000 payment to low and middle-income USA citizens will be used to substantially pay down national debt. Then, a follow-up post, a dividend of at least $2,000 a person, not including high-income people, will be paid to everyone using billions of dollars collected from tariffs. This is where things became more concrete. He repeated, at least $2,000. He confirmed high-income Americans would be excluded. He emphasized tariffs as the funding source. He said payments would go to everyone in the qualifying income categories. These repeated posts show that the idea wasn't a one-time statement. It's something he is actively promoting and positioning as part of a broader economic plan. For seniors, especially Social Security beneficiaries, this is important. In all the previous stimulus programs, there was always confusion about whether Social Security counted as income, whether non-filers would qualify, and how the IRS would handle direct deposit. This time, Trump made things much clearer. he stated directly that seniors, retirees, and benefit recipients are included as long as their total annual income is below $100,000. That means Social Security retirement benefits, Social Security disability, SSDI, supplemental security income, SSI, VA disability or pension, railroad retirement benefits, survivor or spousal benefits, all count as income and all are eligible as long as the total income stays under the income cap. Who exactly qualifies for the payment? A clear and simple breakdown. Kwang Chin Tram 2. Now that we've talked about the announcement itself, let's move into one of the most important questions every senior, retiree, and working American has been asking. Who exactly qualifies for this $2,000 tariff dividend payment? This is where things often get confusing because every government program has its own rules, income limits, and eligibility guidelines. But in this case, the information is actually much clearer than usual. President Trump stated directly that the checks would go to low-income and middle-income Americans. And based on previous legislation, especially Senator Josh Hawley's American Worker Rebate Act, the income limit associated with Trump's plan is $100,000 a year or less. This income threshold is important because it defines who falls into the low-income and middle-income categories for this proposal. So, if your total annual income from all sources combined is $100,000 or less, then you fall into the eligible category. That means this program is designed to include a wide range of Americans, not just workers, not just tax filers, and not just people with earned wages. Let me explain this slowly and clearly, especially for my seniors watching. If you're receiving Social Security retirement benefits, you are included. Your Social Security counts as your income. Many seniors worry that they might be excluded because they don't work anymore or because they don't file taxes every year. But in this case, Trump has made it clear that retirees are absolutely part of the group he wants to help. If you're receiving SSDI, Social Security Disability Insurance, you also qualify. SSDI is considered income, and as long as your total yearly amount is below the $100,000 limit, you fall within the eligible category. If you're receiving SSI, Supplemental Security Income, you qualify as well. SSI recipients typically have very low income, which means they fall into the exact group this program is designed to support. If you're a veteran receiving VA disability, VA pension, or survivor benefits, you also qualify. Trump specifically acknowledged veterans in his messaging, and the income threshold applies the same way. For many veterans living with disabilities or fixed incomes, these payments could provide meaningful relief. If you're receiving railroad retirement benefits, including disability or survivor benefits, you qualify. This program is treated similarly to Social Security for income purposes. If you're receiving spousal or survivor benefits, whether from Social Security, VA programs, or railroad retirement, you also qualify. These incomes count toward your total annual income, and as long as you are under the threshold, you are eligible. And finally, if you're part of a working family, whether you're a single parent, a dual income couple, or someone working multiple part-time jobs, you qualify as long as your total income is below $100,000. This program is meant to be broad. It's meant to help seniors, retirees, veterans, low-income workers, people with disabilities, and families who are struggling with rising prices. It is not limited to one type of income, one age group, or one specific category. Instead, it applies to almost everyone except those with high incomes. Now, let's be very clear about one thing that many seniors often worry about. Will these payments affect your existing benefits? Based on what we know today, the answer is no. Stimulus-style payments in the past did not reduce Social Security, did not reduce SSI or SSDI, and did not affect VA benefits. These payments were considered non-taxable, temporary financial relief. Trump has not suggested anything different this time. The $2,000 dividend payment appears to be treated the same way, an additional benefit, not a replacement for your existing income. Another common question seniors ask is, do I need to file my taxes to receive this payment? The safest answer is yes, you should file. Even if your only income is Social Security, even if you normally don't file taxes, filing ensures that the IRS has your current information. During previous stimulus rounds, the IRS struggled to locate some non-filers, which caused delayed payments or missing checks. Filing a basic tax return, often free for seniors, helps avoid those problems. You should also make sure your address is updated, especially if you recently moved, downsized, joined assisted living, or changed your mailing arrangements. And if you can set up direct deposit, that's even better. It's the fastest and most secure way to receive any federal payment. If you're wondering whether unemployment counts, the answer is yes. If you're unemployed, but your total income for the year is under $100,000, you qualify. Losing your job doesn't disqualify you. In fact, it often places you firmly within the low or middle income group. At this point, the simplest way to understand eligibility is this. If your total income is $100,000 or less, and you are an American receiving wages, retirement benefits, disability benefits, veteran benefits, or similar income, you are included. High-income earners are excluded. Everyday Americans are included. This broad eligibility is one of the reasons the proposal has gained so much attention, especially among seniors. For millions of people living on fixed incomes, this payment could provide a lifeline at a time when every dollar matters. How this payment differs from previous proposals and why it matters now. To fully understand the impact of this new proposal, it helps to compare it with previous ideas that were discussed over the past year. Many Americans, especially seniors, have been hearing about stimulus payments, rebates, tax credits, and debt reduction plans for months. But most of these ideas didn't get far, either because Congress blocked them or because the administration changed priorities. What makes this new $2,000 tariff dividend different is the amount, the urgency, and the strong push behind it. Let's break this down in a way that's easy to follow. Earlier this year, Senator Josh Hawley introduced what was called the American Worker Rebate Act. That proposal would have sent $600 per adult and $600 per dependent, up to an income limit of $100,000 per year. This plan had initial support from various lawmakers, but it ultimately stalled. Many Republicans, including Trump at that time, were more focused on reducing the $37 trillion national debt rather than sending out payments. But now, something has changed. Trump has shifted his position from no checks to checks first, debt second. This is a significant reversal, and it signals a major shift in priorities. Instead of saying we should use tariffs only to pay down debt, he is now saying we should first return this money to the American people, especially those who need it most. Not only did he change course, but he tripled the amount compared to Senator Hawley's earlier proposal. Instead of $600 payments, Trump is now pushing for at least $2,000 per eligible person. That represents more than a threefold increase, making it the largest tariff-funded direct payment proposal ever discussed. Another key difference is how Trump is framing this payment. Rather than calling it a stimulus check, which some people associate with past emergency spending, he is calling it a dividend. That word choice is intentional. A dividend suggests that American citizens are shareholders of their own country. When tariffs generate revenue from foreign countries, this plan would distribute a portion of those funds directly to the public, just like a company distributing profits to its shareholders. For many seniors, this framing resonates. When you've worked hard your entire life, paid taxes for decades, and contributed to this country, the idea of receiving a dividend feels like receiving part of what you helped build. It's not charity, it's not welfare, it's a share of the money collected on behalf of the American people. Another major difference from earlier proposals is the messaging. Trump isn't hinting at the idea of payments. He is announcing them directly and repeatedly. He mentioned the $2,000 payments in the Oval Office and then posted about them multiple times on Truth Social. Politicians rarely make repeated statements like this unless they are serious about pushing the policy forward. Now, let's talk about why this proposal is especially relevant right now. Even though the overall economy may appear strong on paper, with rising stock markets and high 401k values, millions of Americans are still struggling. Inflation has taken a toll on those with fixed incomes. The price of groceries, utilities, insurance, medication, and housing has risen steadily over the past 2 years. Seniors, in particular, feel these increases more than any other group. Many are living on Social Security checks that no longer cover the basics. Some are choosing between food and prescriptions. Others are accumulating credit card debt simply to survive each month. A one-time payment of $2,000 wouldn't solve all these issues, but it would provide breathing room, real breathing room, for people who need it urgently. Trump has publicly stated that the United States is bringing in massive tariff income and that the country is in a strong economic position. Whether one agrees with that statement or not, his belief is that there is enough tariff revenue to fund these payments without raising taxes or increasing the national deficit. In his view, tariffs bring in money from foreign countries, and that money should be returned to American families before being used to reduce debt. There's also a political element to consider. Trump rarely repeats a promise unless he intends to make it a central part of his agenda. The fact that he announced the plan in the Oval Office and then reinforced it multiple times indicates that this is not a passing idea. It is something he is preparing to implement if he has the authority to do so. However, it's important to be realistic. Although Trump has made the announcement, the payments still require congressional approval, IRS preparation, administrative planning, a distribution timeline. This means the payments are not instant and not guaranteed yet. Even though momentum is strong, seniors should stay informed but should not make financial decisions based on money that hasn't been received. So what makes this proposal different? The amount is larger, $2,000 minimum. The target group is broader. Most low and middle income Americans qualify. The messaging is stronger. Trump is pushing it directly and repeatedly. The funding source is unique, tariffs instead of printing money. The urgency is higher. Inflation is hitting seniors harder than ever. For millions of Americans, especially retirees living month to month, this proposal represents hope, real hope. Not speculation, not rumor, but a publicly announced plan with clear intent behind it. That's why understanding the details matters, and that's why staying informed is essential. What happens next? The timeline, what you should do now, and final guidance for seniors. Now that you understand what President Trump has proposed, who qualifies, and how this plan differs from earlier stimulus ideas, it's time to talk about what comes next. This is especially important for seniors, retirees, and people on fixed incomes who want to prepare the right way, stay safe from scams, and avoid unnecessary stress. At this moment, the $2,000 tariff dividend payments are not yet finalized. Although Trump has publicly announced the plan multiple times, both in the Oval Office and on Truth Social, several steps still need to occur before any money can be sent out. The first step is congressional approval. Even if a president strongly supports a program, Congress must authorize the funding and provide legal authority for the IRS to distribute the payments. In the past, even popular stimulus programs required votes, negotiations, and amendments before they became law. That will likely be the case here as well. The second step is IRS preparation. When the federal government sends out payments to millions of Americans, the IRS needs to update their systems, verify income information, coordinate with Social Security Administration databases, and prepare direct deposit pipelines. This process can take time. During previous stimulus payments, many seniors experienced delays, not because they were ineligible, but because the IRS systems weren't fully ready. The third step is setting an official payment date. This is the part that most people care about, but it's also the part that takes the longest. Even though the proposal has momentum, there is no confirmed date yet. Anyone promising a specific date at this stage is either guessing or spreading misinformation. Seniors should be cautious and rely only on official sources. So what should you do right now while waiting for updates? Here are the most important steps, explained simply. 1. File your taxes, even if you have low income. If you normally don't file taxes because your only income is Social Security, SSI, SSDI, or veterans benefits, this is the year to file. Filing taxes ensures the IRS has your correct income information, your correct address, and your direct deposit details. This dramatically reduces the chances of delays or missing payments. Many seniors don't realize that they can file a simple tax return for free. There are AARP tax assistance programs, senior centers with tax volunteers, and IRS free file options. And even though filing may seem unnecessary, it is one of the most important steps you can take to prepare for any type of federal payment. 2. Update your address and direct deposit information. If you moved recently or changed apartments or transitioned into senior living or assisted living, make sure the IRS and Social Security Administration have your current address. A large number of past stimulus checks were mailed to old addresses, causing months of delays. Updating your information now will prevent avoidable problems later. If you have the option, set up direct deposit. It is the fastest and safest way to receive any federal payment. Checks sent through the mail can be delayed, lost, or stolen. 3. Know your total annual income. This payment is for Americans earning $100,000 or less per year. That includes Social Security, SSISSDI, disability or pension, railroad retirement wages, part-time income gig work survivor benefits. Add it all together. If you're under the threshold, you fit the eligibility requirement. You don't need to apply. You don't need to sign up. You just need to be within the income limit. 4. Stay alert for scams. Whenever the government announces any kind of payment program, scammers rush to take advantage of seniors. They may call pretending to be from the IRS. They may send text messages claiming you need to activate your payment. They may demand your social security number or bank information. Let me be perfectly clear. No government agency will call you for your banking information. No one will ask you to pay a fee to receive your check. There is no sign-up form. If you meet the income limit, the payment, if approved, will come automatically. Protect yourself and do not engage with suspicious calls or messages. 5. Do not make financial decisions based on money you don't have yet. This is perhaps the most important guidance I can give you. Do not delay paying your bills because you expect a check. Do not take on new debt. Do not spend money assuming the payment will come next week. Even though the proposal has strong momentum, it is not finalized. Seniors should stay hopeful but practical. The payment may come, but no one should financially depend on it until it officially arrives. 6. Stay informed through reliable sources. Many seniors rely on TV news, social media, and community groups to stay informed, but there is often confusion, exaggeration, or misinformation. If Trump announces a new detail, or if Congress schedules a vote, or if the IRS releases a timeline, it will be covered by major media and official government websites. Staying informed helps you avoid scams and remain prepared. Final thoughts. For millions of seniors, this proposal represents something deeply meaningful: recognition. Recognition that the cost of living has risen too quickly. Recognition that fixed incomes haven't kept up. Recognition that older Americans deserve support after spending a lifetime contributing to this country. A $2,000 payment would not solve every problem, but it would provide real relief, breathing room, stability, peace of mind. For seniors choosing between medication and groceries, this money could change everything. For veterans living on disability, it could ease the burden. For families living paycheck to paycheck, it could offer temporary stability. For anyone feeling squeezed by rising prices, it could provide hope. The plan is moving forward publicly and seriously. Now we wait for Congress, the IRS, and official updates. Until then, the best thing you can do is prepare, stay alert, stay informed, and take care of yourself.